This place is busy, so expect some disruption here and there. But what I want to talk about is the issue of people saying that Raila died here in Kenya. So to them, Raila did not die in India. I mean, people are actually believing that kind of propaganda. It's a conspiracy theory that I really do not know where it came from. But if I have to dig deeper into it, what I understand is that before ODM issued a statement rebuking Gachagua and those allied to him, it was because of the rumors that were being spread online that Raila was completely indisposed, or in other words, Raila had passed on. So what ODM and the Odinga family was doing was just to play around with our minds. But what had happened was that Raila died, or Raila was dead already. So it was that kind of rumors going online that led to ODM, issuing a statement that was so strong. It was a strong-worded statement that, to be honest, attacked Gachagua and also Kalonzo. And in a quick rejoinder, you saw what Kalonzo said. But now what shocks me is that there are people who still believe that Raila died 2 weeks ago before the official announcement. That kind of propaganda is actually spreading. And in fact, just my immediate neighbor, I remember I was having a conversation with him, and he told me that Raila died 2 weeks ago. And I was like, bruh, where did you get that one from? And also, there's a story I did where, one of my subscribers said that it is true, Raila died 2 weeks ago. And I've also seen some other YouTubers, like there's one popular one, David Wafula. Okay, did some commentary and was trying to justify, that Raila honestly passed on some 2 weeks ago. He gave some examples. He was trying to build up some logical argument. Because of that, I feel that I need to clarify issues here. Guys, I can honestly say that Raila passed on in India. And here are basic reasons, very simple reasons. Like, you don't need to build that conspiracy because facts are just clear. First of all, when you talk of 2 weeks, remember this, Raila died on 15th, right? And on 3rd, Raila was in Kenya. On 3rd, that was on Friday, Raila attended 3 events before he was flown out of the country. One, we had ODM officials, where they deliberated on the issue of postponing their celebrations. ODM had 20 celebrations in Mombasa. Raila was in attendance, and photos are there. The second event was the Gor Mahia officials. They were at Raila's home in Karen. Okay, photos are there. The third one was a graduation ceremony. A relative to Raila graduated, and just a family member. And photos are there. And later what we learned was that Raila was flown out of the country. And there's a photo of Raila and his personal doctor in London, okay? As you can see in this photo. And later the photos we saw were photos of Raila in India. And Raila was with Okech Salah. Photos are here. Look at these photos. They were in India together. And you can see in this photo, as I analyzed in the previous video, Raila was stable. He could smile and all that. And finally, there's also a video of Raila, taking a morning walk. Okay, there's also a video of Raila being rushed to hospital, and his personal doctor trying to resuscitate him and all that, doing a CPR. Okay, there's also a statement from doctors who attended to Raila, where they say they tried their best to save Raila's life. That is public. We also have a statement from Indian Prime Minister Modi, condoling with the family and Kenyans. So with that, how would you even think that the government and Odinga family can lie to you when Raila truly died in Kenya? I mean, what is even the point of coming up with that kind of plot or storyline where Raila dies in Kenya and then later talk about India? Let me ask you a simple question. Those photos of Raila you saw in India, you seeing Raila being attended to by his personal doctor, you listening to doctors in India giving a press statement, addressing the local media about their attempt to save Raila's life, then later you buy into the argument that Raila died in Kenya? You buy into that kind of propaganda, and by the way, you support it for sure. Why are Kenyans like that? Why do you buy into such kind of propaganda when facts are out here? Do you think the Kenyan government and the Odinga family could go to the extent of convincing, the Prime Minister of India to lie to the world that Raila was in India and he died there? And to what end? To achieve what? Also, local media in India report about Raila's death in India, where he was admitted, okay? He was doing his morning walk, he collapsed and was rushed to hospital. Local media in India is reporting that. Do you think the Kenyan government and the Odinga family bribed the Indian local media so that you are lied to about Raila's death? Come on, folks. I mean, you need to be serious. We can't continue like this, that you people start spreading propaganda that Raila died in Kenya like 2 weeks ago, when in actuality we saw on 3rd, Raila was attending some events and photos are there. So when you deduct 3 days from 15th, what do you get? You get 12. Now you're talking of 2 weeks ago. Even your own math doesn't make sense, folks. And it is true that Raila was in India seeking medical attention. And if Raila's condition was that serious, definitely his own wife would have been out of the country. I mean, folks, you need to be serious, because this one doesn't make sense. I am seeing a situation where Kenyans quickly fall into propaganda. They embrace propaganda, they buy into it. Now, the recent case being that of Shalikido, okay, where Obina supported this guy, bought him a motorbike so that he could run his errands. Unfortunately, he died in a road accident. And later, people say Obina sacrificed him. And people spread that kind of propaganda. I mean, guys, why so allergic to facts? Because I am realizing that Kenyans are so allergic to facts. You quickly buy into propaganda. You don't even question, you just buy into it. We also heard the case of Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika, when she went to the US to deliver twins. People started spreading the propaganda that, oh, she was hospitalized and all that. And later when facts came out, truly speaking, she was in the US to deliver her 2 beautiful children, or babies for that matter. But at first, what was the propaganda? She's going to die, she was hospitalized and all that. Guys, come on. Ask yourself just simple questions. Why would the government and Odinga family even lie when Raila has always made it open? I mean, about his health, he makes it open. He has been honest with the Kenyans, for sure. Okay, I see some people say that the government and Odinga family had to lie so that President Ruto signs into law some bills, like one, computer misuse and cyber crime. Folks, that bill wasn't new. That bill did not come from nowhere. That bill went through public participation. That bill was debated on the floor of the National Assembly. Yes, you all understand, before a bill is signed into law, what it takes for it to become law. You all understand that. So you say that President Ruto and the government had to lie so that President Ruto signs a bill into law. It doesn't even make sense, because that bill went through all the legal processes. Guys, we need to be serious. We shouldn't buy into propaganda. We shouldn't be allergic to facts, because there's one that I told, okay, we are so allergic to facts. And at the end of it, we fall into lies and we end up electing bad leaders because we don't want to listen to facts. You are so allergic to facts. You quickly buy into propaganda. Then sometimes apply rational thinking. And also there's the issue of, people saying, okay, if truly Raila died in India, how come his daughter was in Kenya here? Because they say that Raila was in India with his daughter. That is Rosemary. The person Raila was with was Winnie Odinga. Rosemary was in Kenya. Odinga was in India with Ruth Odinga, Winnie Odinga, Okech Salah, Maurice Ogeta, and his personal doctor. And photos are there. but you still buy into propaganda. Guys, please, let's stop this propaganda. Let's not be allergic to facts. I mean, it shocks me that people until now still believe that the government and Odinga family came up with a lie that Raila died in India when he actually died in Kenya. I mean, so you think the Indian government can be dragged into this to a level they have to use their air force to airlift Raila's remains? You feel all that could happen just because they want to lie to you? To what end? To gain what? You need to be honest with yourselves. I mean, it doesn't make sense, for sure. It doesn't make sense. Please, Kenyans. But let's be people who are honest. Let's not fall into propaganda. And sometimes even baseless propaganda like that. I've seen on TikTok, on X, even on Facebook, people saying that Raila died 2 weeks ago. And I shudder because you people are so allergic to facts. And it is the same kind of reasoning or beliefs that lie to you, that convince you to vote in bad leaders, and later you start complaining. Please be factual. Let's be rational, people. Let's not just spread propaganda.